And so I'm trying to figure out like what is going on. And then God sends me out. He says, go. And so I'm, at work now, and I've eaten this piece of pizza, and I start working. And all of a sudden, I start to feel the animosity, but it's being underhanded animosity from the boss. And I was just like, what the fudge bucket? And God goes, he's angry. Why is he angry? Because you're not going to choose him. But he didn't want me to begin with. And God's like, now that he sees your value, just like your first husband, he didn't see your value until it was over, until his new relationship ended. And he realized just how much he lost when he lost you. And I was like, and mind you, at this point I hadn't started fasting yet, but God is already opening my eyes and already revealing things that I hadn't known before. And so this man was like bitter, but at the same time, he was trying to pretend that he was happy-go-lucky. And I was like, ugh, a manipulator. And I recognize a man who has the Jezebel spirit over him. And I realized that he wasn't looking to be a man of God. He was looking to continue living his life the way he was living it. And I could have chosen him. I could have said, oh, yeah, I'll pick him. But it was going to be a hard road. It was going to be the same as before. But this time, I wasn't going to be able to leave. I wasn't going to have the opportunity to get out of that relationship because I would have chosen, I would have used my free will to choose this man. You see, my first husband, when I first got into that relationship, God told me, this is not going to end well. This is, basically, this is going to end. And I said, but is this where you want me to go? And he said, yes. And I said, then I will abide by the rules and commandments that you have created, Father. Because one, I had laid with this man who was not my husband. I had gotten pregnant, and I had now a child that was in the works. And God honored that relationship. But he knew that this man was not going to return to him, because he was, in his heart, he had hardened it so hard that God was like, no, I'm not gonna soften it. I gave you a child. So God sometimes will use children to soften a person's heart. But instead of softening his heart, he became prideful, he became jealous, because he saw the way that I treated my children. I loved my children. I cared for my children, but I didn't forget my husband. Even though he said exactly that I focused so much on the kids that I forgot to take care of him. And I'm like, what? So everything that he did, all of the lying, the cheating, he blamed me for. He said if I was a better wife, if I was a better lover, if I was better at this, better at that, better. But he never saw the fault in himself. Instead, his only way of dealing with the situation was to beat me down. And that made himself feel better for a while, because eventually God will tell you, will let you see that you're not doing the right thing. And so I already had that experience under my belt. And this man reminded me so much of my first husband. This man whose name is Will. He reminded me so much of my first husband. And I was like, no, Father. You showed me who my God ordained spouse is. I am not willing to go through a lifetime of despair and anguish. And yes, perhaps one day he will come back to you, but that means that I will put myself through even more hardship, through even more sadness, through more pain than I've already been through. But if this is your will, if your will is for me to be with this man, then let it be your will. I will not stand against you. I will walk in your path. I will walk in how you want me to walk. And then I didn't get an answer. I'm like, okay. So at 7 o'clock is when God had led me already to have do a fast. And my fasts are usually from 7 to 7. It is very rare God has me do anything outside of that. And he actually told me that I will need to fast for the next few days until Monday. And from 7 to 7. So 7 o'clock at night to 7 in the morning, I'm to have no food. I can have liquids because I'm not eating very much as it is. I'm eating maybe on a good day, 2 meals a day. On a really, really good day, I'm eating 3 meals a day. But for the most part, I eat once a day. And it's a lot of drinks and a lot of coffee, a lot of soda. And that's how I keep myself going. I'm not, and it's not that I don't want to eat. I'm so tired that it's an effort to eat. It's an effort and it takes energy. And all I want to do is sleep. So I forgo eating so that I can function and continue doing the things that God needs me to do. So I hadn't looked at my phone because I was working. So, and he was annoyed. He was like, the phone's on hold. People at the register. You need to take out the food. And I'm like, why is he being such a father? And God's like, because he's angry. Because he can't redeem you anymore. And I was like, there was something that Just Emily posted that said that there would be no feelings for this individual. That once my true God ordained spouse came into the picture, once the, what do you call it? The opportunity to redeem me was past, which it has, that I would have no feelings for this man. And I remember when I first started, like, there was a commotion of the girls wanting me to say that I wanted this man. And I kept saying no, 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 no. And it kept recurring and recurring. And then finally, when things settled down, he put his... So the last time I saw him, he had his hair in a bun. And I was like, ew. I don't like buns on men. If you're going to have long hair, have long hair. Do not put it in a ponytail. That's for women, not for men. But honestly, for my own taste in men, I prefer clean cut. That's not clean cut. It's shaggy. And he sags his pants, which I'm not into that. I prefer a man who is well kept, who looks the part, because I will dress to match. And this man just strikes me like a child. And so when I saw him with the bun, I'm like, whoa, you're wearing a bun? You're wearing a bun? And he goes, yeah, it's to keep the hair out of the pizza. And I'm like, no, no, no reason for you to have a bun. Nope, nope. And the other boss was like, you don't like buns, Diana? I'm like, nope, nope, they don't look good on men. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Nope, it's my own personal preference. Nope. Now, this man has a girlfriend. He does not need to be listening to what I'm saying. Yet today, when I walked into that store, I noticed he wasn't wearing a bun. But I said nothing. And at first, I did think about saying something, and God's like, why? I'm like, yeah. And I went about my business. Honestly, God has me so well trained that when he says why, I'm like, oh. And I just walk on by. So these girls, they're like expecting me to be like, hey, how's it going? What are you doing? So what have you been doing this weekend? And I just pass them by, like, and they look at me like, why can't we get why can't we get a reaction out of her? Like, why can't we get the satisfaction of making her angry, of making her cry, of making her anything? Cause God. And so, I started folding boxes because we needed them. Because these girls never make boxes. They're never required to work other than what they feel is necessary. And so I think he was angry that I didn't comment on the fact that his hair was down. I'm like, what are you, 12? But in the beginning, I remember when I first started working with this man, I would pray, Father, keep my heart safe. Protect my heart. Do not allow my heart to be swayed. Do not allow my heart to lead me in a direction that is not of yours. And now I don't need to pray. Like, I look at this man and I don't feel anything in the sense of wanting to be with him. Like, my flesh is not wanting to, it's not on fire for him. And I was like, what in the heck? And so finally he leaves and I'm like, see ya. And he kept coming back. Like he was trying to get me to say something. And I'm like, peace. And I went about my business. I went back to do my job, blah, blah, blah. Now, the boss that was working last night, the one that I was closing with, when I first started working with this man, he was very short with me and very quiet. I could not hear what he was saying. Now, he's very vocal. He's like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay. And then he tells me, can you go do this? I'm like, okay. And I go and I do it. Everyone else gives him trouble. They're like, no, I'm not going to do this. You're not my boss. You don't tell me what to do. It's like, well, technically he is your boss because he's the manager on duty. And second of all, you do need to do what he says because he's your boss. So I'm older than he is. He is the same age as my youngest son. And I respect him. in his position of authority. And even my children, my boys, I respected them, but I also wanted them to understand that I'm still their mom. I'm still older than them, and I am owed respect. And this young man understands that. That while, yes, the other girls he can play with and have fun with and talk dumb stuff with, when he talks to me, it has to be in a respectful manner. And we can still joke, but it has to be in a respectful manner. It's not, this isn't, I'm not 15 years old and you can kid with me and like that. I'm a mature woman. I'm a mature woman of God, and I deserve respect, and I command respect. And that's the difference. The other girls don't command respect, and when they get pooped on by a customer, they're like, why doesn't that customer respect me? And I'm like, because you're not commanding the respect. You're allowing you it falls on deaf ears. But God always leads me to try and educate them. And maybe one day, when they're ready to hear the words that I've said, they will remember the time. Sorry, guys. So I was, it was late at night. It was probably 8:30, 9 o'clock. I can't remember exactly what time it was, but it was after 7. And God led me to go look at my phone, which normally I have it on my hip, but today I have a different pair of shorts on, so it doesn't have pockets. So I couldn't have it on me. So I went and I looked, and I saw a deposit. I'm like, a deposit? And I realized, I was like, what? But I was like, okay, I'm working, so I can't really look at it. So, then I get done with working. I get sent home. I'm done for the night. God gives me 2 boxes of wings. 12 wings each. So God then showed me 11:12. And then he says, flip it, because it's in reverse. I'm like, 11:21? What's going to happen on 11:21? So 11:21, I've got 12 wings. 21:21. And then, so I get to park. I can't eat. So I don't even open the box of wings, because if I open them, I'm tearing into them. But see, this is when you know when you're fasting, if it's from God or not, because supernaturally you will not be hungry. I hadn't eaten anything since 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Normally, at 8 o'clock at night, I'm starving. I'm ready to eat. And I have 2 boxes of wings, and I haven't touched them. I did eat something already because God was like, go and buy this. And I did, and I was like, woohoo. I get excited when I get to eat something other than just, sandwiches and pizza and stuff. But shout out to Tanya, because Tanya sewed into me. And so the amount I had in my account before Tanya sewed into me was $1.20. $1.20. That's what I had left. I still had money that God had given me, but he hadn't led me to spend it. So he was telling me, use only this much, use only that much. And he would replace what I used. And then he would tell me, put that much back into your savings. And I'm like, okay. And he was like, okay, now move this over there. Now move that. And I remember the last time he did this. So when he was teaching me about obedience, it was go to the beach. Okay. I didn't want to go to the beach. And I would argue with him about going to the beach. But I went anyway. Over time, every time he told me to do something, the fight got a little less and less. And now it feels more like a conversation. He'll tell me, go here. And then if I remember, which I know it's him reminding me about something else he told me, I will ask him, would you like me to do this before I do this? Or would you like me to do that and then this? And he sets the order. And when I go according to his order, the transition between the two things that he told me to do is so smooth. This is why it's so important to wait until he tells you to go. Sometimes he'll give you the instruction, but he won't say go. So you have to wait until you hear go. Once you hear go, then you go. So he led me to look at my account to show me how much I had in the account after Tanya sewed into me. And I had 101.20. And he goes, drop the zero like Tara taught you. I'm like, okay, so what does it make? 11.20. And I'm like, 11.20 is when I get paid. 11.20 is when I move into this new place. And I'm like, and what's going to happen on 11.21? It's like, oh my God. So this morning when I woke up, I was thinking I was going to have to go to the other park. And I was not happy. I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the other park. And then I didn't go to bed till like 1 in the morning. And God said, if you get up early, and you can go to the other park. I'm like, really? He goes, yes, but you have to get up before the sun rises. I can do that. And I did. I got up at 6 in the morning, and I was about to go back to sleep, and I was like, no, if I want to make it to that park, I got to go now. So he didn't even let me take my dog to go to the bathroom first. He said, no, this is the order I want you to do it in. And so I did. I did exactly what he said, and I got here before that other car got here. And I was like, wow. And I saw the car. When you saw me look that way, it's because I saw the car drive by, and he was mad. And God gave me the revelation that the evil was trying to sneak back in and push me out. And that's why he had me fast last night. And because of my obedience, he gave me $100, which will go towards some things that he has told me I need to do, because everything is going to change come 11:20. And the reversal of the reversal will end on that day. And something else that he had led me to know was that these 7 days that between the last day and the 20th are interlog, or the time during a play, interlude. It's the interlude. And so my phone's about